Just ahead on American Sunrise, President Trump met with Zelensky at the White House just days after meeting with Putin. Are we closer to ending the war? We'll have the latest for you on that. Plus, Democrats from Texas State House finally showed up to work after 2 weeks. What kind of punishment will they face? We'll take a look. And finally, President Trump wants to make mail-in ballots go away forever. Can he pull it off? We have those stories, so much more as American Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
We have breaking news to share with you.
politics,
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
we've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Gina. We are live with you from the Palm Beaches. Let's bring in Emily Finn, who's here in West Palm Beach with me, and Terrence Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning to both of you. There's 6,000 new words in the dictionary today, but they're not all good ones. We'll talk about that maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
I mean, they add the TikTok words. I don't even know that it's a topic we need to discuss. It makes me so angry because I'm like, those aren't real words. Like, I think it's a day and age when people need to improve their vocabulary, not like take themselves to the lowest common denominator. But that's just me.
Oh,
Tradition.
that's pretty interesting. Maybe some Gen Z kind of words
Exactly.
in there. I'm not like no cap. I don't even know what that means. That's the only one that could come to mind.
Well, apparently
Well,
there's
speaking
5,000 more of those somewhere. Sorry, T, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Emily, speaking of capping, President Trump definitely not capping when he says he's going to try to create a trilateral meeting. You see what I did there? He's definitely not lying. He is on the job trying to get a trilateral meeting between Putin and Zelensky. He, of course, met with Zelensky at the White House yesterday and said that a peace deal is possible.
I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future. With all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult. They're very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result.
So look, Dr. G, President Trump, I think, is doing a wonderful job. He is really leading as the leader of the free world in terms of trying to bring about peace. But the more we talk about it, the more headlines he gets, the more I get concerned about Vladimir Putin doing something to try to derail or put egg on President Trump's face in all of this. I'm sorry. I'm fearful that Putin will do something that will turn all of this around, all of this success around.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that could go wrong here. You have a lot of personalities at play. You have a lot of different motivations happening. But Terrence, if you're sitting down, I don't know if you heard over the weekend, I believe it was, that if you're sitting down, Terrence, because I kind of don't know the setup.
I am sitting down.
There.
I'm sitting down.
That Hillary Clinton even agreed that Donald Trump might be a candidate for the Nobel Peace Prize. That's how well he's doing. And she said, of course, under certain circumstances and et cetera, et cetera. But for her to even acknowledge that that's a thing is a thing, right, Emily?
Absolutely. We are 3 years into this war. I think everybody is on the same page that we have to end it somehow. And it's great that this is the closest that we've gotten through President Trump's efforts with meeting with both sides, with Putin and with Zelensky. And I think that trilateral meeting is going to be the next step in all of this, Terrence and Gina.
Gina, by the way, Hillary ended her statement saying no cap, which means no lie.
Yes, I think she did.
I'm joking.
I think there's a lot of slang in the new dictionary that might describe Hillary. Anyway, instead of doing that, let's check out today's Bible verse. It's from Psalm 37:7. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret of him who prospers in his way because of the man who brings wicked schemes to pass. And, always so many great reminders in there when it seems like the bad guys are getting good things happening to them or the whole converse of that. There's a lot in the Bible about that. You can always go there and check it out. All right. As we've been covering President Trump, he met with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House. Here is more of what President Trump had to say. Take a listen.
Well, I know Ukrainian people. I've known many over the years. They're great people. They're smart. They're energetic. They love their country. I mean, they love their country, and we want to get this war ended. That's all I can do. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped.
Yeah, we're reading a lot of statistics about the children that have died in that war. We shouldn't be surprised. Children die in every war, but somehow hearing it said makes it more real. Let's bring in Missouri Congressman Mark Alford. Congressman, the meetings between Putin and Trump and Zelensky, what is your takeaway, if you had to give like your top takeaway from all of this? The things that, not the things that the news headlines are saying, Congressman, but the things that you see that maybe are beneath the surface.
Well, Dr. Gina, Terrence, thanks for having me on. Love being on your show. Look, what a difference this meeting was from 6 months ago. Number one, there's a lot more gold in the Oval Office. I don't know if you've noticed that, but also this golden age, this golden era that President Trump, with true leadership, is trying to bring to the world stage and has brought to the world stage, bringing all these European leaders together in one place. I don't think that's ever been done at the White House before. And then to bring Zelensky in and to have a very honest conversation with Zelensky, but also, I think, a very polite conversation with him to try to move him forward as well. This is, look, Donald J. Trump is the snake charmer at this point. Putin is the cobra. And all we're looking for now is a mongoose. And I think that's going to be the European nations, not necessarily NATO, but this European consortium that's going to provide some protection along with the United States of America. Hopefully no boots on the ground from the USA, but maybe air cover. Whatever this partnership ends up looking like, that gives Ukraine some security guarantees that we can stop the killing in Ukraine.
All right, Congressman, so I'm going to follow you down that road, because that's, of course, a huge part of any deal would be the security guarantees. Have you already had any conversations with your colleagues about how far, or the kind of appetite that Congress might have in terms of security guarantees and U.S. involvement in any sort of security on the European continent?
I haven't, but I am listening to my district. We're going to be out today traveling several hundred miles talking with business leaders and farmers and ranchers. I know one thing, Terrence, that they have been really iffy on, and in fact opposed to since I've been in office the last 2.5 years, is sending any further money to Ukraine. We've spent more than $300 billion so far in sending armaments and money to help with humanitarian causes, which is a good thing. I think Europe can shoulder most of those now. We've also sent money to prop up their government when we couldn't even fund our own government, $37 trillion in debt. So the American people have had it with that. I think this deal that Trump has worked out with NATO countries, and he mentioned this yesterday, that we are selling these NATO countries armaments, Patriot missile batteries, and then they're getting them into Ukraine. That is going to be how we operate. And Putin is on the ropes now, I think, because of the security guarantees that we're setting up, but also the sanctions that President Trump could enforce on other countries that are buying oil from Russia. If that stops, then the money dries up and Putin will not be able to wage war. We've got to make sure that this cobra is put back in the basket.
Congressman, I do want to switch gears here for a moment. President Trump says that he wants to end mail-in voting. Take a look at this.
So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it, because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching
get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt.
That was during yesterday's press conference with Zelensky. You know, Congressman, how do you see this playing out? Like the president says, mail-in ballots are a fraud?
I absolutely agree with President Trump on this. Missouri does not have mail-in ballots except for an excused absentee, and a lot of times those have to be notarized. 8 states right now allow mail-in voting. In fact, they send these ballots to every registered voter, some, as we've seen in the past, getting 2 and 3 ballots per address for the same registered voter. It is setting us up for fraud. And whether that fraud is actually happening or not, why would we even open the door to this fraud? I believe it is happening. It has happened in past elections. I think it has swayed some of the election results. President Trump is on to something here. America wants free and fair elections. Our past Secretary of State here in Missouri, Jay Ashcroft, was very much on point with that. And now our current Secretary of State, Denny Hoskins, is leading the charge to make sure we have election integrity in Missouri. It should be nationwide.
Speaking of Missouri politics, Missouri AG Andrew Bailey was named as co-deputy director of the FBI. What does this mean in terms of who will appoint his replacement in Missouri, and what do you think he adds?
Well, there's 3 names on the list right now. We're having a phone call with Governor Kehoe, who will make that appointment. Our past governor, I think, ended up appointing 7 executives to fill slots that were vacated for various reasons, most of them good, if not all of them good. This is a chance for Mike Kehoe, our new governor, to really show what he's made of, to put someone in place who's going to have the same veracity and tenacity that Andrew Bailey has had. Andrew's a friend of mine. We've campaigned together in the past. He's going to make a great deputy director along with Dan Bongino. This is going to be a trifecta. I was texting Kash Patel last night, telling him congratulations, because this is a great pick for America. He's going to be able to fill in some of the gaps that are there right now from the FBI. And I think you're going to see some great things out of Andrew Bailey in the future.
Hey, Congressman, before we let you go, very quickly, when you return to Washington, you're going to return to National Guard troops and heightened security there in the city, which leads to the question, and let's take Kansas City, for instance. Would you support President Trump potentially deploying National Guard troops or helping to secure Kansas City, which also, sorry, but it's not necessarily the safest city in the country? Would you support that sort of move?
Yeah, we're nearing on 100 murders this year in Kansas City. Could be a record. Things have really gotten out of control here. You know, when Trump was in office the first time, they started something called Operation Legend, where he sent in federal officers to help with some of the crime here in Missouri. We are getting the FBI is going to be broken up out of D.C., and we're getting a large contingent. I think about 21 new FBI agents here in the Kansas City area. I think it's paramount that we get the crime under control. I think it's working in D.C., but that's a little bit different story in that the District of Columbia is a federal district. And so there's this 30-day window of opportunity for the National Guard there to go in. And as you've seen, have made a great effect, had a great effect, arresting more than 300 persons now and getting crime under control. Whether the mayor and the city council there likes it or not, Trump is going to do something about a crime. He's going to clean house, and he's going to make sure that Washington, D.C. is a shining example of freedom, democracy, and hope, and not a cesspool.
Congressman Alford, thank you so much for being with us. Hey to everybody in the Show Me State. Enjoy your drive across it tomorrow. It's one of the most beautiful places to drive.
Thank you.
All right.
God bless you.
God bless you. All right, coming up, we check out the hottest headlines from the RAV newsroom with T. Bates. And later, RAV's own Brian Glynn praised Ukrainian President Zelensky for wearing a suit to the White House meeting with Trump. How did Zelensky respond? Well, we're going to show you when American Sunrise returns in just a moment.